Yo, what's up? Welcome to today's HyperSpace hover. In this video I will be reviewing The Mandalorian Season 2. Be aware that these are just my opinions and experiences. Let's just jump right into it. Wow. If you would have asked me if The Mandalorian could become any better than Season 1, I would probably have laughed at you and said, "You really think it can be better than this?" Oh boy, how wrong I was. Luckily. The Mandalorian Season 2 is so much better than the first season. I would describe Season 1 as an arrangement of incredibly enjoyable Star Wars mini-stories. It has awesome visuals, insanely good characters, and the action we want to see in a Star Wars series. It lacked just one thing: a good overarching storyline, and oh boy, did Season 2 deliver on that. Let's review this season by going over each episode individually. I'll give each episode a separate mark and then I will elaborate on my choice. Let's start with the first episode, Episode 1 or Chapter 9, The Marshal. I have to be honest with you, after hearing all the rumors of Bo-Katan and Ahsoka Tano returning, I was quite disappointed with this episode. It felt like just another adventurous mini-story, the one thing I disliked the most about Season 1. Okay, the opening scene was good, I'll give them that. We now knew Mando was in some serious shit. Not only was the Empire trying to kill him, so was basically everybody else in the universe. The one thing I liked the most about this opening scene was that the Mandalorian finally had the balls to show us that Mando isn't our family-friendly superhero. The guy that tried to kill him got eaten by some dogs, or whatever that were, on screen. Furthermore, this episode was about Mando trying to find other Mandalorians. This is probably the only cool thing established in Episode 1, because this opens up a lot of possibilities for new storylines and characters, as we will see later in Season 2. Sadly, the remaining part of the episode was just another mini-adventure that didn't really add to the lore or story of the Mandalorian. Yeah, okay, we found this guy who wears Boba Fett's armor, but that's really it for the story. In my opinion, the season opener already felt like filler. Okay, the action was cool and it looked good, but why is Mando even fighting the Krayt Dragon? What is he gaining from this fight for freedom? Yeah, I guess he wants that Boba Fett armor, but why would he? He doesn't really even know Mandalorians anymore. I guess he is a good guy, yeah, I get that. But Mando is so desperate to try and find Baby Yoda's species. Why is he even stopping his quest to save this guy who definitely has no idea who even the Mandalorians are? With all of that said, the episode felt like we were finally back in Star Wars after a year, and I have to say the mini-adventure of this episode was quite enjoyable to watch. I would rate this episode a 7 out of 10. The opening scene was good and it showed us some impressive work from the VFX team, but the season opener already felt like a mini-adventure filler episode. Let's just go to Episode 2, The Passenger.
Holy shit, is that Boba Fett?
Oh god, not again. I was really losing faith in Season 2 so far. This episode was yet again a filler episode, or at least it felt like that. Some will say it wasn't, but I really felt like it was. This episode added nothing to the story again, which I was so looking forward to being expanded. I seriously can't even find the point of this episode. Mando takes this frog lady with him, crashes into a planet and almost gets killed by these spiders. Then fixes his completely destroyed ship in hours and continues his journey to the planet he was supposed to go to. We accomplish literally nothing in this episode. Yeah, okay, we got some interaction and character development between Mando and Baby Yoda, which is always nice to see. We see how Baby Yoda is really starting to get used to all the violence he encounters, which could mean dark feelings are growing in him, which is kind of nice, a new perspective to the character. But I do have a couple of major problems with this episode though. Why is Mando running away for the New Republic? Okay, there may be a warrant on him because he broke criminals free from a prison, whom he later returned by the way, but these guys clearly didn't give a shit. So I'm guessing the New Republic doesn't either? I don't know. Secondly, why did he crash land his ship into this planet? It's not like he's one of the best pilots in the galaxy who conveniently never seems to get hit. Plot armor. But also, how does his ship survive this? But gets absolutely destroyed by this. Lastly, how does he fix his absolutely destroyed ship in hours? He even gets it to be vacuum proof for spaceflight. Oh yeah, let's not get into that cave scene, let's just forget that. I would rate this episode a 5 out of 10. If I could erase one episode from the series, it would no doubt be this one. It literally adds nothing to the story, the episode doesn't progress the series in any way, and it's just another filler episode. Let's just get into episode 3, The Heiress. Oh my god, yes, finally a storyline. After the first 2 episodes, I was highly questioning if they even had it in them, but oh boy, they do. We may have to wait for 2 weeks, but it's finally getting good. So yes, the rumor was true, Bo-Katan is indeed starring in The Mandalorian Season 2. I was just speechless when she entered the scene to save Mando and Baby Yoda. The Mandalorian is finally tying into other Star Wars stories. Not only is it creating some new storylines for other characters, we now also got some backstory to Mando's character. Mando is a child of the Death Watch, meaning his beliefs don't match up with Bo-Katan's beliefs at all, so there naturally was some conflict between the two. I was really happy to see Mando teaming up with the other 3 Mandalorians in the end, probably the one thing the Mandalorian has been building up towards during the entire series. We finally met some other Mandalorians. The meeting between them was a bit rough, as Mando constantly told Bo-Katan that she wasn't a true Mandalorian. But I was happy to see them agreeing on terms in the end, as Bo-Katan had some vital information for Mando, the location of a certain Jedi. So they decided to steal an Imperial transport with the 4 of them, because Bo-Katan needs weapons if she is going to rebel against the remnants of the Empire. The action of this scene was just stunning, I really can't say more. If you thought the episode would be done by now, you were in for a treat. Bo-Katan probably name-dropped the most loved Star Wars character ever, Ahsoka Tano. Mando has to meet up with her, so she can help find Baby Yoda's species. Not only that, but she also told Mando about the importance of Gideon's defeat, so she can retake the Darksaber. I was really happy to see all of these storylines and characters all come together in The Mandalorian. It just started to make sense now. I would rate episode 3 a 9 out of 10. In my opinion, this was definitely the best episode we saw in season 2. Episode 3 set up some major plot lines for further episodes and seasons of The Mandalorian, but as we now know, also for future Star Wars series. Let's see what episode 4, or The Siege, has in store for us. I feel like this episode was extremely underappreciated. First of all, it was really nice to see the crew from season 1 back together on Orvala 7. It was interesting to see how far they had come with reorganizing their community. Of course, the focal point of this episode was to get rid of the Imperial base that was still left on their planet. If they would destroy it, the planet would basically be free. I feel like people really missed the importance of this episode though. I feel like people really missed the importance of this episode in the storyline of The Mandalorian, because oh boy, we got some insane plot lines again. There was much more to this episode than just an invasion of an Imperial base. As you know, the base wasn't just a military base, it was also a cloning facility. Or at least a lab of some sort. The big question that is still unanswered in season 2 is, what is Gideon trying to create? I am almost sure it has to be Snoke, come on, it just looks like him. If this is true, I mean, it's just my theory, I feel like The Mandalorian could become an even larger story than we already think it's going to be. It was just really cool to see a relatively big storyline to be introduced in the series, instead of in a movie. Furthermore, the action and fight scenes of this episode were really good too. I really don't have anything negative to say about this episode. We sadly didn't get to meet Ahsoka in this episode, but I don't think we have to wait much longer. Yeah, sure, it wasn't the greatest episode we've ever seen, but it did tie in some larger Star Wars stories into The Mandalorian, which could become vital to future seasons. The thing I was craving to see added in Season 2 was finally here, a larger overarching story. I would rate Episode 4 an 8 out of 10. Let's just get right into Episode 5, The Jedi. Yes boys, it's Ahsoka! We had to wait an episode, but she's finally here. I honestly thought her entrance into The Mandalorian would be with some sort of teaser at the end of an episode, but right off the bat. I was amazed by how good her character was portrayed in live action. At first it felt a bit weird, not gonna lie. It took me some time to get used to her voice and appearance, but at the end it really felt like I was looking at Ahsoka Tano. The action scenes with Ahsoka were just amazing, and yeah, this episode was almost only that, great action scenes. Also, the child now has a name, Grogu. I can't really explain why, but the scenes with Grogu, Ahsoka and Mando just felt really special for some reason. We finally also got a bit of backstory on Grogu's character. Yeah, we still don't know much, but this is a beginning. The fact that Grogu was trained at the Jedi Temple of Coruscant makes it much more interesting all of a sudden. Who could have been his masters? Obi-Wan? Anakin? Maybe even Mace Windu?
Now tell me, where is your master? Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Wait, what? We're also tying in Admiral Thrawn to live action. This can't get better. I mean, what really is there more to say? We got Ahsoka Tano, Grogu's backstory, Thrawn, and all of that in one episode. I would rate episode 5 a 9 out of 10. I mean, this is just one of the best episodes we've seen in The Mandalorian so far. Let's see what episode 6 has in store for us. We're here. We're on Tython, the Jedi planet. Grogu is going to reach out to other Jedi in the galaxy. I mean, come on, how can this episode not be amazing? Holy shit, it's actually Boba Fett. It really was him, guys. We once again met another Mandalorian. I'm just beyond amazed by how many characters and storylines the Mandalorian is putting together. Like, who will be next? Luke Skywalker? Yes, the sole purpose of this episode was for Grogu to reach out to other Jedi, but that fight scene with Mando, Boba Fett and Fennec Shand is just amazing. I can't even remember how long that scene was. It really felt like 10 minutes of non-stop action. But then, when everything seems to be going great for Mando and his crew, everything takes a dark turn. Gideon somewhat joins the battle himself. Holy shit, that was an expensive, meaningless toy. No, but jokes aside, it was kinda sad to see the Razor Crest go. It had become such an iconic ship in the short time it was around. I think Mando now has to join Boba Fett for the foreseeable future, as there's really no other option for him. But then, oh boy, the Dark Troopers were finally engaged. I mean, how can you not find these amazing? Just look at them. Oh yeah, and they also kidnapped Grogu. I think it's really interesting to see where episode 7 and the finale will take us from here. The Razor Crest is gone, Grogu is gone. I would rate this episode an 8 out of 10. It was good, but I won't say it was amazing. The fight scenes were a bit janky in some places, and I have to be honest, the Dark Troopers were a bit anticlimactic. But furthermore, I have nothing to really complain about. Just another good episode. Let's see what episode 7, The Believer, has in store for us. Oh no. I thought The Mandalorian had learned its lesson, but episode 7, despite being the penultimate episode of the season, felt like another filler episode. It was a good filler episode, gotta give him that. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy this episode, but it felt like yet another mini adventure with no real meaning to the story. There were a lot of good things about this episode though. We found the location of Gideon's cruiser. Yeah, can't really say more about that. It was kinda necessary for the season finale, so I'll give them that. Also, Mando took his helmet off, for only the second time in the entire series. I'm not going into that Twitter drama or whatever that was in this video. I just thought it was really cool to see Mando is prepared to show his face when necessary. But then, this scene, oh my god. I'm even going as far as saying this was the single best scene of the entirety of season 2. The tension building up in this scene to then having that climax, it was just perfect. The acting by this guy was just amazing. Come on, give this man another shot at being in Star Wars.
To the Empire.
No, I didn't mean a shot like that. God damn. I felt like this episode definitely wasn't necessary, especially with it being the second to last episode of the season, but I didn't mind it either. It was filler, yes, but it was nice to see. I would rate this episode a 7 out of 10. Let's just get right into the season finale, episode 8. Let's go guys, we're in the end game now. I mean, this episode is just what we want to see in Star Wars. After a wild ride of a season, I feel like this was the proper ending to it all. We saw all the characters, well, almost all characters, come together to fight the greater evil. I mean, where do we even begin? This scene was cool, although I think it could have fitted better in episode 7 as maybe the last scene of the episode. You immediately feel like these guys don't like each other, and well, we could see that. One of the only things that I felt like wasn't established well enough was why they all just agreed on Bo-Katan's plan. There was no hesitation to trust her from anyone, despite most of them just having met 5 minutes ago. They crash land on Gideon's cruiser and immediately the action starts. I don't think I have to say much about the action, just take a look. So they split up. Mando goes solo towards Grogu and the rest of them goes to find Gideon on the bridge. I mean, why would Mando go solo to find Grogu? I know they want that 1v1 battle between Gideon and Mando, but logically someone would have joined him. How wrong I was about the Dark Troopers being anticlimactic. These dudes are amazing. It only took one of them to absolutely destroy Mando. And that soundtrack when they start up. Just forget Ahsoka, forget Grogu, forget Bo-Katan. These guys are the best characters from season 2. When Mando finds Grogu's cell, Gideon is there too. When Gideon told Mando he could take Grogu if he could keep his Darksaber, I was absolutely amazed. I thought Gideon and Mando would actually be making a compromise. But yeah, sadly they ended up fighting each other anyways. What was I expecting? But in the end I am kinda glad though, because this fight scene was amazing. You could definitely tell Gideon wasn't really good at saber wielding, so Mando easily won. So our heroes now had basically won. Except for one small detail, the Dark Troopers. They were absolutely gonna whoop Mando's and his squad's ass. But oh wait, whom is that X-Wing from? Holy shit, it's a Jedi! It's Luke Skywalker! They definitely couldn't have made this season any better, at least this final episode. The scene with Luke, Grogu and Mando was just perfectly done. It's really sad to see Mando having to give away the child he has been taking care for a long time now. The fact that Luke is in The Mandalorian is just amazing, but they could have definitely pulled it off better. They chose to use a deepfake of a younger Mark Hamill, which looked absolutely awful if you ask me. I don't know if this was a final moment decision because his deepfake looks somewhat rushed. I would have preferred it if they had just hired a new actor, just like they did with Han Solo. Although I absolutely loved this episode, it for some reason doesn't really conclude episode 2 for me. We don't really get answers to a lot of things that we have seen throughout the season, but I guess that's where further seasons will come in. I would rate this episode a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm not giving it the full 10 out of 10 because I feel like the ending could have been a bit more of a conclusion than it was now. Only a scene where we would see Gideon getting put into a jail cell, or maybe them just jumping to lightspeed with the cruiser, would have made it an absolutely perfect ending for me. And also how they portrayed Luke just felt a bit off. If I had to describe this season in one sentence, it would be, it kept getting better. We started off a bit underwhelming in my opinion. The episodes weren't that great and the trend of mini adventures was getting put through to season 2 as well. Luckily it all changed from episode 3. If you ask me, yes, season 2 is much better than the first season. We finally got a storyline. Just think about this for a second. We saw Bo-Katan and her squad, Moff Gideon of course, Ahsoka Tano, Thrawn was mentioned, we saw Boba Fett, the old crew returned, and we even saw Luke Skywalker appear. If you would have asked me to guess which characters would appear in season 2 beforehand, I would have never guessed any of these. I feel like this was the best job they could have pulled off for The Mandalorian. The visuals were amazing, just like season 1. The action was great, and we now have a massive new world within Star Wars to explore. Oh, and we're definitely going to explore it in the 3 spin-offs. I would rate the entire season a 9 out of 10. Not because I think they could have made it more epic or a better story, I just feel like there were some points they could have improved on. The amount of filler was luckily decreased this season, but it was still there. And I personally don't think filler is at all necessary in a Star Wars series, where there is so much to explore. I really can't wait for season 3. Only 1 year left to wait. I would love to know what you thought of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Feel free to start a discussion about certain topics in the comments below. If you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe if you want to hover over some more of these stories and reviews of course. Well, that's it. I'm out.